Welcome to the Storage Room, where imagination meets unfiltered conversation. This is some Hotel California shit, y'all. I'm not going to give the long story, just kind of the high points. First of all, today's my birthday. I turned 48. My whole life, I always wanted to be taller than my dad. My dad was 6'4.25". And when you ask him how tall he was, he'd tell you 6'4.25". Maybe that comes from the military. I'm only 6'4". I never got that quarter inch. Always had that over me. My dad lived to be 48 years old and 15 days. I'm going to outlive him. Couldn't be taller than him, but I'm going to outlive him. It ties in with the reason why I went to California to do drugs with strangers. These people had seen my videos on YouTube about speed bagging originally, and it got tied into my father's suicide. And we became in contact. Pretty much said, hey, if you find a reason to be in California, would you like to come do 5-MEO DMT with us? I didn't know anything about it. Knew my little brother had been on it, or he had tried it before. I didn't really know anything about it. Whole lot of deliberation with this, but I wound up going. It was about a month later. Show up to these strangers' houses and do drugs with strangers. I'll leave and talking to people on Instagram and on TikTok, and I'm listening to people talk about their experiences with DMT. And I made a comment on some dude's video on how long his fart was. I said, dude, recently I did a 9-hour DMT trip, and I swear like halfway through it, I ripped the longest fart of my life. And the woman who was there with me goes, now that's what I call an energetic release. I wasn't even embarrassed. It felt so good. It's like it came from my sternum. It was awesome. But what I've learned is that it's not common to have a 9-hour DMT trip. It's not because I had an excessive amount of DMT. It was the cocktail. It was the drugs that were given to kind of separate the body and mind. And I don't even really like giving the breakdown. If people want to know, they could reach out and talk to me, because it's not something, it's like giving away a recipe. I don't know all the exact measures and weights and everything. I just know what I was given. And I know in the moment of it, I'm one of those twist the throttle, don't check the parachute before we jump type guys, right? Let's just do it. Wasn't really 100% prepared what to expect during the journey. I wasn't prepared what to expect after the journey. I know that after the journey that I've struggled a lot. And it's because during the journey, even with the amazing highs of it, the low of experiencing my father's death over again was Oh, wow. It was intense. I mean, it was truly one of those moments where you're like, oh, yeah, okay. So there's no such thing as Sunday or Monday or Tuesday or 3 o'clock or, I mean, it was, I'm sorry, I'm not going down all that road. I'm not. I'm bad about getting locked in my head about things. And for weeks afterwards, I mean, like 6 weeks, I don't feel like I had like cure. I don't even, I felt like I was completely closed off. I was, I was open, but I was closed. Like I was, it was like after my dad's death, it was like a state of shock. You walk through the motions, you go through the motions, you kind of do some certain things. And at first, I feel like there was still some DMT still in my system when I first got home because I was exhausted. I mean, I had been attacked on Venice Beach the weekend before. That's a whole nother story. April thinks that I'm angry now. She wishes I wouldn't have gone to California. And I do wonder if it was the drugs, if it was being attacked on Venice Beach. Which one of them was it? Both? I mean, both situations could have been 100% avoided by me. Twist the throttle. Is it that I'm about to outlive my dad? And I've really been, it's been like a forced thing of like needing to be grateful because April sees it. She's like, you're just angry. And it's almost like, if I hadn't just twisted the throttle so hard, I would have just had this really nice, enjoyable, fun experience because I was having fun speed bagging on DMT and mushrooms. That's just part of the cocktail. But I mean, it was amazing. But then it went and, it stirred up so much stuff from my past that I've been, it's like it was all nice, neat, folded, tucked away in little places that were the little boxes. They didn't even take up like big shelf space anymore. It was like they were just all tucked away, nice and neat. Yeah, and my life was normal. It was good. I mean, everybody wants to say, oh, life could be better, but was the journey amazing? It was, but I have struggled afterwards dealing with some of the things. And part of it is that I have a lot of questions. And I feel like the people that I went on the journey with, they were the gatekeepers. They were the ones that, not the gatekeeper, but the gate opener. They were the ones that were like, okay, this is where you start to see things differently, though we may not be able to speak the same language after you hit this point, but you're going to find other people that you're going to connect with really well, and it's going to make sense of why you did all this. And that's kind of probably why I'm making this video right now. Trying to find y'all that have been through something like this, that you didn't just, we're not cookie cutters. We're not all made the same. We don't react the same. We're not antidepressants and are not the same. I mean, April and I eat the different foods. They break down differently in our bodies because her blood type's different from mine. I don't do well with counseling. not traditional. Like I'm one of those people that the moment that I feel like you're trying to play with my brain, I shut off. It's a me thing. It's not a them. It's not a. It is a me thing. I'm fucking broken in that aspect. You know, I mean, I walked into a counselor's office with intent to like break legs, break necks. Like the day that I showed up with to tell my dad's doctor that my dad had killed himself, I woke up with I walked in there with intention. And that's the reason why I didn't tell my best friend, so that when he was shocked when I said what I said, that he was going to keep me from doing anything that I didn't need to do. But I maintained, but I cannot say that the whole ride there that I wasn't thinking every thought there is. I think some of us all, you know, we all have a dark side. And sometimes when that dude comes out, he's like a fucking genie that he is not so easy to wrestle back into the vase. He's been there for a long time and he was happy and now he is like I don't want to be that way. I don't. I really don't. I actually tell people my nervous system is lighter now. I will say it that I feel like there's part of me that was like kind of shed off. But I haven't I've there's part of me that is still just I feel like I wasn't told everything, you know, and I'm dealing with it. I'm processing it. Hotel California shit, y'all. I mean, these are not. This is not like a regular procedure. You don't just go to a regular doctor for this type of shit. You know, I mean, it was kick ass. I should have probably just held back one twist of the throttle. I mean, that's what everybody says when they're in the hospital. Like, oh, my fucking legs don't work. I should have held off just a little bit. But at the same time, man, you never know where that breaking point is unless you break it. You gotta crash to know where it is. Now I gotta find the people that I can have the conversations with about like I just want to talk to people about what was your experience like when you were down there. People talk about a death of the ego. You know, do you ever hear anybody talk about a birth of an ego? Because that's what I feel like I had. I don't feel like I had a death of an ego. I feel like I had a birth. It was beautiful. Sorry, I can linger about this all night. I just haven't known how to talk about this in a. I'm just saying it the way that I would say it, as if my little brother was sitting on the other side of the camera. I'm just like, listen to this shit, man. Because when I get into the details, I can get lost in those for hours. But look who we're at, 13 minutes already, and I'm just talking about the 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 tops of the peaks. Anyway, I've never done ayahuasca, by the way, so I can't relate to that. I can relate to the throwing up. I can relate to that, but I haven't done that. So one of these days, but if you've done DMT and you've done like some Caucasians, I mean, some not Caucasian, some concoctions, some cocktails of them, and you will know if you have done what I did, you will know. You'll be like, oh, dude, yeah, let's talk because that was insane. And I'm not talking about meth or any stupid shit like that. I will say everything that I took, I was told that you can't overdose on. I mean, so there is that. I mean, there is that. I mean, hell, you can overdose on water. I almost did once. That's I need to do a Thrasher stories on that stuff. Anyway, 5-MeO DMT can be amazing. Can also be. I'm still trying to figure out, and it's been 3 months later, and I'm still trying to figure out. Would I do that again? Would I do that again? I guess that's one of the questions, isn't it? We can talk about that.